January usually tells us more truth about the housing market than almost any other month. And January's numbers in San Antonio sent a clear signal. This wasn't a rebound month, it wasn't a crash either. It was a reset. Sales slowed, prices pulled back, and the market shifted into a more balanced position. But before we zoom into San Antonio specifically, I want to zoom out for just a moment because the bigger affordability picture matters. And nationally, the shares of income it takes to buy a house has started to trend down from 2022 and 2023 peaks. That doesn't mean housing is suddenly cheap. It means the pressure is easing. And when affordability begins to improve even slightly, the math starts to rebalance. Several major markets are projected to move back toward what's considered affordable by the end of 2026, and San Antonio is one of them. And improving doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but it does mean movement. So now let's look at what actually happened here locally through the end of January and what that means if you're thinking about buying or selling this year. First up, let's look what's happening nationally at affordability. And as you can see, according to Zillow here, buying a home is taking less of your income. As we mentioned before, affordability is improving. Look at this line here at 30. This represents being affordable equals 30% of income or less. And as you can see, we had a lot of affordability happening here prior to 2022, and then interest rates began shooting up. And we blew right past that line there of affordability and peaked there somewhere in between 2023 there. Very unaffordable there, almost a little over 38% of, it was taking almost 38% of income to get into a home. You can see now that we're trending back down into the affordability zone here, down to 30, and we're almost there. This was as of October 2025. All right, so we're even closer now here in February as interest rates have moderated even further. So this is something to keep in mind as more and more buyers are able to afford a home, whether it's through income or whether it's through interest rates. We are headed in the right direction. We're not perfect yet, and it's not going to be overnight, but we are headed in the right direction. And as you can see here, 20 major markets where homeownership is expected to be affordable by year end. Expected share of typical income a household would spend on a home purchase at the end of 2026. As you can see, San Antonio is right there in the middle. We've got Atlanta, Georgia, Chicago, Raleigh, North Carolina, Columbus, Ohio, Kansas City, Houston, Texas, and others here. And then we get to San Antonio. And as you can see, San Antonio is projected to be under that 30% rule for affordability. So we're going to see more home buyers that can come into the market if we continue on the path that we're on right now with affordability. And now zooming in to the San Antonio housing market numbers. These numbers are through January 2026. We're reporting in February. This is all through January 2026. And as you can see, we're right there at that balanced market mark right there, just under that. Some markets in San Antonio are really strong buyers markets. Others are still in the seller's market category, but we're right there in that balanced market zone. 4.97 months worth of inventory, 96.7% sold to list price ratio. We're looking at about 75 days on the market for most homes. That's up 22.95% month over month. So they sat a little bit longer. And the median home in San Antonio sold for about $275,000 through the month of January. That's down 6.78% month over month. So deals were made right there to get down to that number. And now for new listings, and we're really going to pay attention to the January numbers here. Newly listed homes in San Antonio came in at about $300,000 median list price. That's up. So the list prices for these newer listed homes came up about 7% in January. And if we look here, we're coming to January. The number of homes listed in January 2024, 2,045. And we're just doing this for comparison's sake so you can see what direction the market's moving. 2,450 new homes listed in that year in January. 2,520 homes listed January 2025. And for this year, 2,510 homes. So virtually no difference from last year in the month of January for newly listed homes and number of listed homes. Active listings, this is where all the competition is as far as sellers that are lingering on the market. Let's look here. January 2024, 7,000 listings in active status. We can see how this has been building. And then January of 2025, 7,980. Still trending up, right? And then January of 2026, 8,022 listings, or excuse me, 8,220 listings. So still trending up, not where sellers want to see it go. Buyers can celebrate a little bit. You have more options there. Make offers on these listings, all you buyers. Newly pending listings, homes that just went under contract. This is for the month of January. January 2024, 1,780 pending listings. January 2025, 1,580 pending listings. So trending down there, right? And then January 2026, 1,220 listings in pending status, newly pending. So pending, trending down clearly still. And then pending, virtually the same thing. These are leftovers from the month before. January 2024, 2,000 listings in pending status. 1,880 listings in pending status. And January 2026, 1,610 listings in pending status. Moving on to sold listings in San Antonio. We had a median sold price of $275,000. That's down 6.8% month over month. And then January of 2024, 1,260 sold listings in January. Fast forward to January of 2025, 1,330 listings sold. And then, of course, this year, January 2026, 988 listings sold. So a big stop in the sales activity there for sold listings in San Antonio. And so we'll keep an eye on that. And finally, supply for San Antonio. Over the last 12 months, we are seeing an increase of 12.7%. A supply increase. So definitely more options for buyers and more competition for sellers in these numbers. So here's the bottom line. January showed us a market that's adjusting, not collapsing. Prices pulled back month over month. Sales activity slowed. Inventory is getting near balanced territory. That tells me something important. This year isn't going to reward guesswork. It's going to reward strategy. For buyers, negotiation is back on the table, but you still have to be selective. For sellers, Pricing correctly from day one matters more than it did 2 years ago. And as affordability gradually improves, activity usually follows. It doesn't happen overnight, but markets tend to move before headlines catch up. So if you've even considered making a move this year, the smartest first step isn't jumping into the market, it's understanding your numbers. You can get a personalized home value and strategy at homevaluetx.net. And if this was helpful, I'll keep tracking these numbers every month so you don't have to.